Lagos is one of Africa's best choice cities with leading and brightest potentials for industrialization, economic growth and development. This is why we believe in Lagos on the City of Lagos TV show. We'll be right back. The official schedule of Governor Babajide Sanwo-olu week in, week out is characterized by efficient time management and careful prioritization of engagements with one set target, which is to meet up with the expectations of diverse stakeholders while attending to critical state matters of great concern for the progress of the city of Lagos. And bringing you a comprehensive catalog of Mr. Governor's official engagements is our prerogative on From the Governor's Office segment on the City of Lagos TV show on TV Nigeria. You're welcome. First, the recent launch of the Lagos State Revenue Portal by Governor Babajide Sanwo-olu was indeed another great milestone that will not only transform Lagos as a business-friendly state, but also improve significantly the revenue generation capacity of the Lagos state government to execute purposeful developmental policies, programs, and infrastructural projects. In his speech at the recent launch of the portal, Mr. Governor enumerated the strategic advantages, benefits, value, and relevance of the Lagos Revenue Portal.
The Lagos Revenue Portal is more than just a platform. It is a game changer. It is designed to streamline our payer enumeration process. It is a system that will make it easier for individuals and businesses to comply fully with their constitutional obligation, which is their tax obligation. By simplifying this process, we're removing whatever barriers that we have. Barriers for compliance, we're removing it, which we believe that in turn it will boost our revenue base. But more than that, we're promoting a culture of accountability and transparency in revenue collection.
The Lagos State Governor, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-olu, alongside some of his cabinet members and the construction team, recently took a comprehensive tour of the newly refurbished National Arts Theatre, which will be rechristened later as the Wole Soyinka Arts Theatre at Igomu, Lagos. The governor, who was impressed with what he saw on ground, expressed his observations and thoughts to the press after the tour.
We've just finished a comprehensive tour of the brand new, newly refurbished, restored National Arts Theatre. It's such a rare opportunity, and I'm sure all of you have been part of this tour this evening. Some of you were part of the team about 4 years ago when we started this in 2019. And I'm sure you have seen for yourself the transformation of what this place has turned into. It's almost 5 years. I'm truly, really excited and happy with the work that the Bankers Committee, under the auspices of STINOF, has been able to do. They have truly shown us that when we put our mind to things as a country, as a people, we can get the best out of ourselves. We all came in here 4 or 5 years ago, and we were saddened with what we saw as one of our national treasure, signatory building that we all used to look at. But what has happened in the last 4.5 years, and the tour that we have seen today, is that we've brought back the whole glory, even in a bigger, in a better transformative form than what it used to be. And I think I need to commend, all of the professionals that have put this together. Companies, the architects, builders, the creatives that have worked here in the last almost 5 years now. We need to commend them. And we need to thank them really, really, really seriously. And I think it's really going to be a place where international audience will see that we're ready to take the world on entertainment, on tourism, on the creative mind, and more importantly, even in the business conferences and seminars that we all go and attend in other parts of the world. That's what this old edifice is, a one-stop shop that has everything, you can imagine, as comparable to any other world conference center, But he also now have an additional flavor of an arts, a cultural center added all to it. And by the way, the terrain also that were built all around there speaks to the entire infrastructure that has made this place, a working space. So let's go out there and spread the news that in another 2-3 months, the newly rebirthed National Arts Theatre, Wole Soyinka Arts Theatre, it's on its way to open its door to the public, courtesy, Lagos State government, and sign up the bankers committee that have done this work so preciously.
The Lagos State Governor, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-olu, recently commissioned newly constructed Raymond Estate and Sterling Heights Estate through a PPP arrangement at Akanimodo under Agboiketu LCDA at Davis Street at Jelogo Mile 12. The governor, who presented allottees with ownership certificate, commended the giant strides of the executive chairman. He equally noted the tremendous benefits in public-private partnership, especially in providing affordable housing for Lagosians.
Our chairman here, Mayor Oshinowo, has shown clearly for each and every one of us to see that local government and LCDA are working well in Lagos. Today, we'll be handing over to our citizens 2 estates in one, Raymond Estate and Sterling Heights. This area, several years ago, used to be a den of all sorts. Anything that can go wrong in a city used to happen in these premises. Anything you can imagine that can go wrong in a city used to happen all around this environment. Today is 170 flats. And I say that there is no better job for me than to continue to encourage and commend my local government chairman and LCDA chairman for doing a good job. And so, on behalf of the people and government of Lagos, I want to publicly thank Mayor Mr. Oshinowo for showing us that there is proper and there is true public accountability. And he has shown over time that Agboiketu, Ajilogun, Akanimodo can be a small banana island by look, by feel, by finishing, and by aesthetics. So you don't have the pressure of wanting to be an islander.
Governor Babajide Sanwo-olu recently proudly received the national winner of the 2023 Multichannel Teacher of the Year competition, Adeola Adefemi, at the governor's office in Alausa. For the awardee, she was full of appreciation to the governor, the Lagos State government, and Nigerian bureaus for the great opportunity to shine.
Thank you very much for today. Today means a lot to me. This is my 3rd time meeting Mr. Governor. I told you the first time you gave me a car, I said I'll be back. I don't know if you remember. I told you I'll be back. And I want to say a very big thank you because you gave us the platform. You gave me the platform. Prior to my first win, I was a very shy teacher. I was not very confident in myself. But winning in 2021 gave me the confidence to try again, and I won the best teacher in Lagos to give me a car. I was selected to go and I won best teacher in Nigeria. I also got a car that year, and then I was called again to go and represent Nigeria in Africa. I won again. I was selected as one of the top 50 teachers in the world. All this wouldn't have happened if not for the belief you have and the platform you've given us as teachers, because of course I think Lagos State, I know Lagos State is the only state that gives 13 cars to teachers. And what you've done has totally changed my life. I want to say a very big thank you, sir. Thank you, Ma, for your support. Thank you, the Deputy Governor, for your support. It's beautiful for me, and the win is not just for me, it's for my students. I finished from Lagos State Model College, Baduri, and to have a face like mine in the class, to see a face like mine from a public school to a public school teacher, and also winning on platforms, international platforms, is a huge deal to my students. And I know I've been able to channel that, not just in my school, but in my school's community. I want to say a very big thank you, sir.
In his brief remark, Governor Sanwo-olu saluted the can-do spirit of the awardee, noting that she has indeed made Lagos proud. He equally thanked Nigerian breweries for its bold initiative to sponsor and support such competition to celebrate excellence in the education sector.
This is one event that truly brings about the can-do spirit, the never give up spirit, the sheer resilience that is abound amongst our people. Ms. Otedola is clearly a shining example of from nothing to something. Like she did said, she's now a face to the conversation around anything. If you put your mind and your heart to it, you can indeed take the world from a modest public school, now being a public teacher in Lagos State, being the best teacher consistently in the state at the national level, and indeed being part of the best group of teachers in the world says a lot. First is to thank Nigerian breweries, organizers of Multina Teachers Award through the Felix Uyuwere Foundation. Thank you. We know that you are the foremost brewer in the country. You are the number one amongst several others, and you've certainly put your print, in the sign and time of our country. We want to thank you for continually digging deep and bringing out, the best in our people.
You're still watching from the Governor's Office segment on the City of Lagos TV show. We'll take a break now. We'll be right back. And this time, we're going to be bringing you recent courtesy visits to Mr. Governor in Lagos State. You're welcome back. The recent courtesy visit by the chairman and executive members of the Joint Tax Board, JTB, to Governor Babajide Sanwo-olu in Lagos brought to the fore the fundamental issues of autonomy for state internal revenue services, strategic importance of professionalism in tax administration to drive revenue, which will in turn help to accelerate development of the state. They both, however, agreed that transparency and accountability cannot be compromised.
What is happening in Lagos is not happenstance. There's a deliberate and intentional program to generate revenue, tax revenue, and optimize it. And you've done certain things that's making this happen. First is that you've decided here in Lagos, over 20 years ago, to professionalize the Revenue Authority. I'm going to give one or two statistics just to show you how appalling the situation is and why we need you to intervene before things get out of hand. Today, 35 states in Nigeria have passed the Revenue Administration Law, which grants autonomy to the Revenue Authority, 35 out of 36. But the truth is, only 12 of those states, or 12 of those revenue authorities, have autonomy in practice. Only 12. 5 have partial autonomy, 20 don't have at all. At all. Now, we look at the capacity of the chairmen of the respective revenue authorities and their staff to play the crucial role expected of them in optimizing revenue performance in their respective states. we find that in most states, the Revenue Authority is not ring-fenced from the vagaries of the civil service. It is not unusual for staff to be transferred from Ministry of Lands to Revenue Boards in some states, or from Teaching Service Commission to Revenue Board and vice versa. And where the right skill sets are not driving the Revenue Authority, how do they achieve their objectives?
For us, you are right to have observed that we'll continue to ask ourselves, what are the best in class process, procedure, technology, people, incentive for us to be able to achieve, our objectives. We've seen that indeed, if we simplify the process, if we put forward, an enterprise architecture that is easier to operate, that is easy to access, you will see a better e-governance structure, that will also help with transparency, accountability, and can also hold people, clearly where are the gaps, what are the things you need to do, what are the resources that you require, and that's how we've envisioned the government. Without sounding as if I'm taking any glory, and without sense of modesty, when the journey of reforming and transforming the Lagos Tax Board, then as it was called, I was privileged to be around way back in 2004 when we started, and it wasn't an easy call, the word you are trying to use, which is autonomy or use professionalism, let's call it what it is. They needed that autonomy, and we made difficult calls then in 2004, 2005, where we had to tell, the civil servant at that time, we needed to make a decision. Do you want to be in the core civil service, or you want to, be with the LRS when the name was changed and was rebranded, and people that felt that the heat would be too much, of course they opted to come back into the service. But if you know that you want to work in an environment, quasi-public sector, but will be driven by target, will be driven by numbers, will be driven by, professionalism, stay on this side. And people did.
The Swedish Foreign Minister to Nigeria, Tobias Billström, and his team recently paid a courtesy visit to the Lagos State Governor, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-olu, first to appreciate his excellent leadership of Lagos State and to also attest to the significant opportunities and advantages available in Lagos that will engender profitable bilateral relationship between Sweden, Lagos, and Nigeria from the larger picture.
I do not exaggerate in any way, because the visit I just had with the UNDP and also with the commissioner responsible for innovation here in Lagos showed me the vibrant scene that the youths that you have here in Lagos and in Nigeria represent. I saw so many talents and so many young people who are good, thriving entrepreneurs. So I feel very safe that the relationship between Nigeria and Sweden will also thrive in the years to come. We have a very good scene when it comes to tech community. So do you. And I think that together we will be able to achieve very many good things in the years to come. For me, this is my first visit to Nigeria and thereby also to your lovely city. But I can say already now that I look forward to coming back. And I look forward also to the more formal consultations that we will have. So thank you very much for receiving us once again. Thank you.
Mr. Governor, in his reaction, enumerated the great diverse potentials of Lagos as a city ready for international collaboration.
I want to welcome you to a city that reflects, the true resilience and the capacity and ability, of this great, African city-states. Lagos, as you might have seen in your few short hours here, is actually a massive city-state. We're not surprised that you've immediately, booked a return ticket at some point back to Lagos. The city has a huge, variety of opportunities, of course, with its own attendant challenges. But more importantly, it's a place where we see the future of a young population. We see a city that is extremely very vibrant, that is self-starters. We see a city that has a whole lot of creative, innovative young people that just want to take over the world. Just the event we're having before I came upstairs was a public school teacher who just won the National Teachers Award. She's actually won the state award, on one or two occasions. She's won the national award, and she's adjudged to be one of the best. She's one of the 50 best teachers in the world. She's a young English teacher here in a public school in Lagos. So that in a sense just tells the story of the city that we're about. If in terms of the size, if Lagos were a country, we would probably be the 5th or the 6th largest country, in Africa.
Still on court's visit to Mr. Governor, Governor Babajide Sanwo-olu received in audience the governor of Rotary International District 9112, Rotarian Adeneko, and his team to the governor's office in Marina. Rotarian Adeneko kept the governor abreast with various intervention initiatives, programs, and projects of the group in Lagos.
Rotary has gone a long way in shaping and supporting the government's effort. It is on record that we have done a lot of projects. One of them is the vocational center in Igbogbo, which Rotary solely built. And we have a lot of primary health centers. We do microcredit. We do so many interventions. It is on note that we appreciate your continuous support, and we want to leverage on that synergy that you have given us before to request that you continue to extend this to us. Because of the vision of the one district to two, we will graciously appeal that you consider us giving us opportunity to have a parcel of land within the island, and we'll be glad if you could do that for us. And that will allow us to have a more befitting secretariat for one of the two districts, and we'll also be able to have vocational centers and other multipurpose events that will lead to empowerment. It is on record also that just before June last year, at our secretariat in Ikeja, we empowered more than 200 women and artisans on the same scale which you did that I saw on TV yesterday. We have spent over, if not up to 500 million on empowerment. And one thing that we also pride ourselves on is the polio eradication. On polio, Rotary started the initiative in 1985, and by 1989, we invited the World Health Organization, UNESCO, and other partners to join us in the eradication effort. And today we are proud to say that we have been able to put polio out of Nigeria.
On his part, the governor commended the Rotarians for their great support to the development of Lagos State, promising to address areas of possible needs and equally collaboration to achieve their set objectives.
We're very impressed with the status and the level of intervention that the Rotary and all the Rotarians have begun and have become in our country and in our state in the last almost 65 years now. It goes to show that it's an organization, not just the oldest humanitarian organization in the world, but it's an organization that has evolved over time, and best practices, and doing things right has been part of the tenet. So we want to congratulate you. We want to also acknowledge the fact that we know as an organization you have directly and indirectly touch people's life. You've been a quiet interventionist in the public space. You have identified the needs in communities, and you've gone about, those interventions quietly, without any rancor. You've identified the needs of the citizens. You've identified things that can make life better and more meaningful to our citizens, and you have put your resources individually and collectively at play at ensuring that life becomes a lot more meaningful to its citizens. And like you said, the four-way test, these are also some of the things that any forward-looking government should also guide. And for us, under our team's agenda, we're not only people-focused, we're not only citizen-centric, we're also about ensuring that we can make this place a lot better than we've met it. The collaborations that you're asking for, it's already there. It's something that we need to imagine that we take it for granted. We all know too well that the organization typically identify, salient needs in the society and go about, achieving those needs.
The Lagos State Governor, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-olu, received in audience the Managing Director, CEO of the Nigerian Social Insurance Trust Fund, NSITF, alongside the National Assembly Committee on Labour and Productivity. The MD CEO of the NSITF, Oluwaseun Faleye, informed the governor what prompted the visit.
The reason why we've come, first and foremost, like I said, is that we're here for a 2-day retreat that is designed for us as management and as an organization to collaborate and deepen our engagement with our stakeholders, the lawmakers, so that they better understand what we do, and they also appreciate how we want them to assist us, particularly using their legislative influence and initiatives to support what we do. But of course, to also seek your support and understanding as to our initiatives. First is to very much appraise you of what NSITF is all about. I'm sure you know, but it'll be necessary again to point that NSITF is a social insurance platform that is designed for mostly operate the employee compensation scheme, where we provide cash and non-cash support for injured and disabled or diseased workers, arising from their work activities. And we've been doing that robustly since 2012, and we intend to do more. And in that regard, we think that Lagos State will also be a critical support in doing some of the things we intend to do. First is to call on your support, particularly in making NSITF requirement certificate as a very integral part of your contractual relationship with third parties. We feel that the importance that it gives to workers and employers generally will also contribute to the productivity of the state and the productivity of the country going forward.
In his reaction, Mr. Governor did not only attest to the leadership capacity of the Managing Director of the NSITF to perform, but urged the Senate and the House of Representative members of the committee to ensure an harmonious working relationship with the NSITF to achieve its set objectives. Mr. Governor equally noted the efforts of his government to meet the expectations of civil servants in Lagos to ensure maximum productivity.
Truly, really is to thank members of the National Assembly. You have taken this responsibility very seriously. That's why I believe that you have turned up in large number to participate, in a constitutional responsibility. Not just an oversight, but to sit with them, to listen, and to be able to prefer solutions on how to make the organization better than what it is. And so I want to thank you and want to commend you for that. So on that note, we want to assure you and assure our new managing director that Lagos State is not just the biggest amongst its peer, also in human capital development and in areas where it puts its employers right at the center of everything that it's doing. We always pride ourselves the best. We're happy with Mr. President that haven't signed the new minimum wage. It's for all of us subnationals to see how we take up that challenge and reflect, and see how we can, pass on the benefits to our individual staff, employers at our state level. But I'm sure you know too well that Lagos State, given all the economic challenges that we have here, and given all the pressure that our civil servants currently face, we had since appreciated and recognized that there was a need for us to play even slightly more than that amount. And I want to say that they will continue to enjoy, an amount that we believe indeed will be a take-home that will take them home.
And finally, from the Governor's Office segment on the City of Lagos TV show, ahead of the 2024 annual conference of the Nigeria Bar Association coming up on the 23rd to 28th of August in Lagos, the president of the NBA, Barrister Mikel Yakubu, and his team paid Governor Sanwo-olu a courtesy visit in Lagos. While the president of the NBA acknowledged the significant importance of the state and governor as the host city and the host governor for the event, Governor Sanwo-olu justified the choice of Lagos as the host city, judging from its capacity and capability to host such important event.
Mr. Governor, this year, by the special grace of God, we are having the annual general conference of the Nigerian Bar Association in Lagos. Incidentally, it was in Lagos in 2022 at the annual general conference where I was sworn in as the 31st president of the Nigerian Bar Association, and my administration was inaugurated. As it is, by the grace of God, it will be in Lagos that I will be handing over and exiting for the new administration of the NBA to take over. The theme of our conference this year is pressing forward a national posture for rebuilding Nigeria. We understand that we have to begin to encourage ourselves to press forward in spite of our challenges. When we put our hands on the plow, we shouldn't look back. We should just focus on the goals that we want to achieve, and that we are proposing should be the national posture for all of us in rebuilding our country.
We know too well how important your annual conference of the bar is to the thousands and thousands of lawyers in our country. And so we're aware that you are having an annual conference here in Lagos. And we want to once again thank you for the decision. So we're happy that you've done a repeat and a repeat and a repeat performance. But the question is, why not? Lagos has been truly blessed to not only have the capacity to continue to take on that role as a commercial economic nerve center of our country, but also very humbly, take on the role as the centerpiece and a place where all of us can completely relate. Lagos has been blessed with the ability and the capacity to to rise up and and to take on challenges at different times. Even if you have 25,000 participants, Lagos has the capacity to take care of all of you, both in ability to respond in the event of an emergency, both in medical capacity, both in transportation, infrastructure, and movement, and also in hospitality. So we're hoping that we can continue to raise the quality, and the ability of Lagos to attract international, conferences and associations and seminars like this.
Well, that's the picture from the Governor's Office segment on the City of Lagos TV show on TV Nigeria. Keep tab with TV Nigeria for more in our subsequent broadcasts. The show will continue in a moment. Stay tuned.
Hello Lagosians, my name is Cecilia Bolajidada, the Honorable Commissioner for Women Affairs and Poverty Alleviation in Lagos State. I'm here to protect your welfare and your economic empowerment. I'm here to support you. I'm here to protect you. With the support of the Governor of Lagos State, Mr. Babajide Olusola Sanwo-olu, who is very passionate about the plight of women in Lagos State. Together, we will eradicate poverty to the barest minimum in Lagos State. Avail yourself of all the opportunities out there. We have 19 skills acquisition centers spread across the 5 divisions of Lagos State, where all the skills are taught tuition-free. Are you a woman? Are you a youth? Are you unemployed? Are you looking for a source of livelihood? Visit us in the Ministry of Women Affairs and Poverty Alleviation. So far, we have empowered over 65,000 women in Lagos State. Avail yourself of such opportunity as well. Lagos has zero tolerance for lazy people, not just women. Visit us in Block 18, Alausa, Ikeja. With the Ministry of Women Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, is a sure bet to get out of poverty. Ìgbéga ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó, àjùmọ̀ṣe wa.
There are so many factors that are responsible for debt in businesses. Number one, competition is big. Number two, power is not available because a lot of businesses, if you are establishing in Lagos, you have to provide for yourself the power. The same thing you are paying tax for, you have to go and provide them for yourself. And then another thing is informal harassment. So if you're building a business in Lagos, you need to be tough.
Power is one of it. Also access to funding because somehow things are a bit expensive.
Number one, when you look at the environment in terms of time, so many things consume the time of people in Lagos, most especially the traffic condition. You cannot be productive while you are stuck in traffic for 2 to 3 hours every day of your life.
Traffic and security are one of the major issues we have in the only business in Lagos. You pay a lot of tax. Then I believe that getting people to work in Lagos is really hard.
Lagos is on a fast track. You either move with it or you are left behind. See you next week.